What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another deck profile here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Ball Might deck that I took to the Unfun Friday event. Big shout outs to Unfun Stuff for hosting these events every single Friday. And this week, well, since it was the end of the month, we were talking about the wacky format Friday. So what we did was we ended up playing Old Dogs New Tricks. So we took a character from any time inside of Jasko's history. So not just the My Hero characters, but anything that they made in universes previously, and you could play it over top of your really awesome My Hero deck. And so I decided, instead of playing one of those old characters, I wanted to play a new character. It's my first chance to play as Ball Might, and so I jumped at the opportunity. So before we get started a second time, if you like the deck and you like the things that are inside of it, make sure you go, you check out unfunstuff.com, use code TamCard at checkout, and you get 5% off the entire order for pretty much everything inside this deck, except for Ball Might, of course. And in addition to that, I want to give a big shout out to Crown Axe from over on my Twitch channel. Literally the day before I ended up playing this, I knew I wanted to play Ball Might in the tournament, but I didn't know what symbol. I was planning on like a cool Chaos deck, and then he played against me as a cool all symbols deck, and really changed my mind of how I wanted to play the character. So this character was very cool, and I'm very excited to show you my thoughts on it. So let's talk about the elevator pitch. Ball Might says that as opposed to your Fury Punch package getting really awesome, he says that your ranged and your weapon cards get really awesome. So every ranged or weapon card that you play gets +2 speed. If you do 6 or more damage, you get to draw 2 cards once per turn. And then the hardest response in the entire world, I played the entire event and never happened once. If you happen to block 3 things, you commit your opponent's character. So really good if a no move's like being a little too aggressive. What this actually says is if you fully block 2 moves, your opponent's not allowed to throw a third, because if you do happen to block it, it's over. And so all in all, deck is really cool, but he's only really cool because of the options that we have under his symbols. So first and foremost, I actually want to talk about the flow attack cards. So the first one that I want to talk about is just Unwavering Slash. This card readies cards, draw cards, builds in assets, and is accidentally a 6 mid for 4 with powerful, and it has powerful too. So if you spend 1 momentum, you get up to that 6 damage threshold to draw your 2 bonus cards. This card is exceptionally good. In addition to that, we're also playing the 4 Create Capture Nets. This card has Stun 2. It helps me build, and it also is a little quicker than most decks because it's a 4 for 4 inside of Ball Might. And so if we can find any sort of way to boost that speed up, we're gonna get our draw, which we can do exceptionally well inside of the deck with a couple of our choices. But really, it's Stun 2, extra build, and a bit of an easy poke because it's on an off zone symbol. Last big flow card we're playing triple Binding Cloth Assault. I think this is where me and Crown Axe's lists differ. I'm playing this card because I just wanted to have that bonus draw. I wanted to be able to set up my discard pile how I wanted. And we do have a little bit of synergy with playing some actions inside of the deck. And so a little bit of extra speed. And it's also a base 5 damage, which if we don't find our damage pumps outside of our inside of our foundation base, I wanted to make sure that our moves are hitting heavy. Right now we're only playing like little weenie 4 damage moves. There's not a lot of like real big huge haymakers in the deck, but everything is very fast. So as long as you can pump that damage on elsewhere, the deck feels great. I like this card a lot. I don't think it needs to be a 4 of necessarily, but I do like the 3 of that it represents. Onto the real aggro cards though. So we're playing for Binding Cloth Assault, Binding Cloth Capture, and this card is really the MVP of the deck in my opinion. Being able to just seal that rival foundation and say, hey, yo, that defensive piece doesn't work, is exceptional. As well as if we've played an action, we get to make all of these all become as 3 difficulty moves. So it's a 6 low for 5 on a 3 diff, and then it has the extra hidden ability of these cool combo cards. Say that if I play this card after these, I get to make them discard a card. And so it is a way for as the 3rd card in my chain, guarantee I'm doing that 5 damage that I want to, and stops them from sculpting a turn, right? I make them discard their last card in their hand. I bump this up by 1 damage. I guarantee that it hits. I get my draw 2 to happen as well. Like this card just has so much going for it, and it combos exceptionally well with Piercing Descent. The amount of times that I discarded the last card out of their hand and then slammed a Piercing Descent to dome them for 100 was awesome. This card is the only card of the deck that all by its lonesome gets up to that 6 damage threshold, so that Ball Might can work. And the biggest issue with Piercing Descent is the fact that it is slow. It is a 2 high, very blockable. As your 3rd card and Ball Might getting the +2 speed, this card hit way more often than it was supposed to. This card feels super good in the character that can give it speed, which is the reason it's so good in Stain, right? But +2 speed consistently over the course of the turns, as opposed to the +1 that Stain gets, and then response -3 once. So there is the entire attack lineup. Truthfully, it is foundation dependent, with the MVPs being the slashing, as well as the unwavering slash, as well as the binding cloth capture. These 2 cards were the MVPs, and everything else kind of like culminated to make sure that these things happen. On to the actions. Probably the best action inside of the all symbol right now. We've got 4 Sugar Rush power up. This card essentially, once we draw it late in our string with Ball Might, becomes an additional attack, or it says something like our very slow piercing ascent becomes like a 6 high for actually 100, right? 6 high for 9, 10, 11, 12 damage with just these 2 cards. And so like that feels really, really hard to interact with, and domes my opponent for half of their health on a card that they probably were expecting to interact with. This card feels very, very good. And then the other action that we're playing Double Erase. 1 mid-block breaker. It also says that I can just seal a rival asset or foundation, and most importantly, it's an action to turn this card on. So there were times where I could not actually play the ability on Sugar Rush power up, but I had a couple Binding Cloth captures in my hand, so I'll just play the Erase, seal one of your cool defensive pieces, and then make it a little easier to play. Onto the assets. We were playing triple box full of babies. The important part of this card is to draw a card, discard a card. The commit for +1/+1 is relevant, especially whenever we've got a couple of 5 damage moves, right? Binding Cloth Capture and Binding Cloth Assault were good, as well as the slow moves of the Create Capture Net and the Piercing Descent to make them a little bit faster, right? This card essentially, combined with All Might, said +3/+1 on moves, and that is, I mean, that's enough to make them not want to block it. And then the last asset we're playing is we're just playing triple Create Capture Net. I wanted enough targets to make sure that my Unwavering Slash was live every time that I saw it, every single time, as well as it pumps that damage up by 2. You get to do really interesting combos with the Create Capture Net to check a card and then commit, add it into your card pool, and then build it down with Create Capture Net. So you got to just like have a lot of cool discard manipulation with these 2 just pieces, but it didn't feel inconsistent enough. And the most important part, honestly, was if I had all 3 of these out, I had -6 damage over the course of a turn, as long as I wasn't going to block much stuff. And because of the fear of Ball Might blocking 3 times, they didn't really throw out a ton of stuff. So on the 3rd one, I would just stop it, you know? Okay, onto the foundations. We don't actually have a lot of aggro foundations. The main one, the most important one, the MVP foundation-wise, is just Revel at his masterpiece. Like I said, I've got a lot of 4 damage, 5 damage moves, and so I see double Revel, and it says that every single move gets +2/+2. Which means that every single move has the threat of drawing 2 cards, which means every single move has to be fully blocked. And with giving them all +2 speed, it feels incredibly, incredibly powerful. It feels so, so good. Onto the defense of the deck, we're playing 4 Specialist of Sounds. This card is the main big defense that we had, of just like, yo, I'll make this a little slower and I'll block it. Oh, I'll make this one a little slower, I'll block it. You better not play the last one, or else I'll commit your character and then blow you out on my next turn. This card felt absolutely wonderful to play. I don't think under the All symbol you're allowed to get away with less than this, like you can under Air and Good. 4 of mandatory here. The next good defensive pieces, we had the 1, You're So Obvious. It's just destroy, reset, speed, or damage. We're not playing any punches, and so this card can't really be used on offense unless they make something so incredibly slow that I want to put it back to printed, then maybe give it the All Might buff back. I don't know. It's interesting to want to play this card offensively and not have punches in your deck. 1 Spooky. This card is a beautiful tactic with the Specialist of Sound. Specialist says either I can make it -3 speed, or if I've got Specialist and Spooky, I make it -3 damage, right? Because I swap the speed and damage. There were plenty of times whenever I would have 2 of these on the board, and I would just slam -6 and then give it -6 damage, and then not even have to block it. So it was commit 3 to fully block a technique. That's fine. It saves my hand size. It saves, as long as I've got other resources that I can spin and utilize for the rest of the turn. That is just not a bad play. Up next, we're playing double challenging the fakes. I've got 28 health. I'm a 16 size character, so I'm allowed to kind of let my opponent hit me a little bit. So flip for -1 damage, and if it's not blocked, I can their next check. It combos, or excuse me, not combos. It's a good tactic with the specialist spooky challenging, right? So we specialist as our reaction. We take and we spooky to swap the speed and damage. So now the very slow move is now a soft hitting move, and then we challenge the fakes and say it gets even softer. And now I don't even have to block it, worry about taking the damage, because the big thing that you'll find with challenging the fakes is as soon as you commit to playing this line, your opponent is just going to unload everything. If it's a powerful move, they dump their momentum. If it's if they've got like Sugar Rush power up, they play it. They play everything they possibly can because you have postured, I'm not blocking this move. And so the cool mind games is you flip this all with the intention of blocking and see how much they pump this thing up. Next defensive piece that we're playing Triple Rooftop Vantage. This card could be in the disruption pile or the aggro pile if you really wanted to, but I was playing on webcam, and so this card says flip reveal the top card of my opponent's deck. There's no shot that I'm just going to let them know the next thing they're going to check or the next thing they're going to draw. And so, honestly, this is just a 0/5/2 low block in our deck. The All Symbol does not have amazing low blocks, and this card feels way better in person as opposed to over webcam, obviously. But I thought the spam was just important enough because eventually I'm going to hit you, and then in order to keep my tempo up after I've drawn my 2 cards, I need these low difficulty foundations to keep building, to keep tempo with the game. I can't get outbuilt. Onto the flow cards, we're playing 4 Destined for Mainstream Success, Enhance, Flip, name a card type, draw that card type if it happens to be it. Cards insane with just like making sure that I've got good checks, drawing extra foundations on blocks, drawing attacks whenever I need to pop off more. You can count the number of attacks in your deck, and as you get low in your deck because of how much draw you have, you can set these up and combo them. It's an insane card, probably going to be a 4 over the rest of its legal life. The next big flow card we have is Zoom Response. If you have the All Symbol, look at the top card of your deck. It says that you get to figure out what the start of your turn looks like, right? Like if I've got a Foundation, a Create Capture Net, and an Unwavering Slash, I reveal the top card of my deck and it's an attack. I could start off with the Foundation, then play the Create Capture Net, build it down, and now I've got the resources for the Unwavering. It's exceptionally good as long as you remember to use it. And then lastly, the Deadlock form says that I get to just get a little peek at your hand, and that feels good to make sure I know I have a confirmed kill. Onto the disruption parts of the deck, we're playing 4 It Can't Be Fixed. With how much I want to string these cards together, this card felt exceptionally good at building those resources quickly. If my opponent decides to be a little greedy and hit a stun early, I've got a couple of these. I'll flip them, build my foundations back, and then sling actually 5 or 6 attacks at you because of the bonus draw that we have from Ball Might. This card was exceptionally good. Once again, another 4 of probably for the rest of its foreseeable life. And the last card in the deck, the last disruption card, is just 1 Night Watch. My 6-1 actions to Night Watch felt very good in this list. I had a lot of really quality high blocks. If my high blocks were a little worse, I probably could have easily seen myself play 2. But being able to just say, yo, I blocked with an erase, I checked an erase, I checked a Sugar Rush power up, and now I've got a cancel on my board that you can't really deal with. This is one of the main reasons to play the all death and void symbols on any character that has those symbols, right? Not having access to Night Watch means that I don't want to play chaos. I don't want to play good with this character. I want to play the all symbol. So it feels exceptionally good. On a scale of 1 to 10, Ball Might feels actually like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. This deck was a blast, and the big thing that it taught me was this +2 speed and the bonus draw was cool and good, but this could just be done with Eraserhead if we want to. We're already mainboarding double erase. We could make it 4 erases. And then not only do we have plus on our speed, we also have minus on our speed because of Eraserhead's ability. And it's not draw 2 once, become an 8-hander. It's be a 7-hander the entire game, which is just more consistent, right? With the availability of Revel at his masterpiece and Sugar Rush power up, we now have the all symbols ability to kill, because we have the ability to make our weapon attacks fast. We've never had the ability to like murder our opponent. And so I'm excited for when All Might 7 comes out and this becomes an actually legal, legitimate deck. But for now, just using Ball Might and these in these fun events has been fun. So with that, you guys, thank you again for watching the profile. This was an insane, very fun event. Big shout outs to everybody who I played. Big shout out to Crown Axe for helping me solidify that the all version was the one that I wanted to build. And big shout outs to Unfun Stuff. Once again, if you like the deck, you want to get it, use code TamCard, 5% off your order. With that, you guys, thank you much for watching the video, and I wish you well.